2011, another great year for information services. Though little did we realise that our agility, our responsiveness, our expertise would be tested so early in the year in preparing for and then recovering from the floods on Southbank. We had to pack up a library and a data centre, move them up a floor, and then bring them back and get them into operation in time for our students to return. An amazing effort under quite difficult circumstances. As with last year, our achievements are too numerous to mention, but hopefully this snapshot will give you some sense of the depth and breadth of information services, its fantastic services, its new initiatives, great achievements, and the wonderful staff within it.
The evacuation process, I think went very, very well. Actually, what they managed to do in 2.5 hours was actually stunning. To clean out half the library, basically, in that time and move it upstairs was just brilliant.
What we were focused on was removing the books from initially the lowest 3 levels of shelves, which is probably up to about a metre or so off the ground. That's where we were concerned the flood peak would come to.
The concerns we hold now, obviously, for the collection is the mould that has eventuated because of the dampness, the air conditioning being off. Also getting everything into file again. Over the last 4 weeks, we actually managed to finish the recovery. The last bit being obviously getting the scores back onto the shelves, also interfiling the collection. So the periodicals, reference and general collection all went back into one big collection.
It took us 2 hours to move everything out of the library, and it wasn't anything in order. We had on the first level only 5 rooms, and they were full of scores from all sorts of different parts of collection.
I helped bring the scores back down to the library from upstairs.
Clean up, sort, put things back to the right place, and then keep the spirit up.
I think that's the 2 bits, is to keep the staff happy and working hard, and just to remain calm, and it's got to be done and plough on with it.
Early in 2011, Information Services welcomed Richard Katz to Griffith University. Richard is a world-renowned expert in the use of educational technology to enhance the student experience. Whilst he was with us, Richard conducted a number of workshops for both our academic staff and our professional staff. I also took the opportunity to spend some time with Richard and ask him some questions about the directions that he thought educational technology might take us to in the future.
The landscape in Australia is fantastic educationally. I think that I would say that the nation, as an educator in the world stage, has come into its own. Now it's possible to extend the reach and footprint of the institution around the block, around the city, around the region, around the nation, and around the world. For Griffith University, it means the leadership can begin to ask and to answer the question, how do we enlarge the footprint of this university so that we become global? I think that you're going to see a significant change in the competitive landscape as well as the collaborative landscape in higher education.
My name's Glenn Sullivan. I'm the Manager of Technology Support here at Griffith University. I was once a student at Logan High School, completed Year 12 in 1985, opening their eyes to what is available at universities and what's available in the workforce, to see if that's where they want to head.
Our Year 10 students love any opportunity to get out and find out about different career options. These students were IT students who came today to the Nathan campus, and they've had a really good time. And it opens up their minds to see what opportunities are available for them when they leave school, whether it's to study or a future career option in IT.
Going to the data room and the sticky mat, that was pretty fun.
Learning about all the different jobs involved with IT.
It's great to see Logan Lee here at Griffith and us presenting to them to head some students down the same role or the same path that I've taken.
The idea to develop a module about copyright basics information was really in response to a lot of inquiries our team used to receive about copyright directly from academics. Winning the Vice-Chancellor's Innovation Award really gave us the inspiration and the momentum to really get this project off the ground. I worked with quite a few staff within the digitisation and distribution team, as well as across INS and learning and teaching, to help me develop the idea about the Copyright Basics module.
We've written the Copyright Basics module as a brief resource that academics can go to when they need to get started with using copyright materials.
The Copyright Basics module is an ideal first reference for any questions that academics may have about copyright and compliance.
It'd be great for new conveners, but it'd also be great as a refresher for more experienced conveners, and also for anyone wanting to keep up to date with the latest developments in copyright.
As a continuing academic that teaches each semester, what I'll be using the resource for is just to confirm that the readings that I'm choosing and the book chapters that I'm using are copyright compliant.
The library website was 4 years old, and we'd introduced a new search feature last year, library search, and we'd really tweaked the website as far as it could go. The university was changing its brand, and we really took this opportunity to ask our users what they wanted in a website, and it was great to see that they liked what we already had, but there's a whole range of new features that they would find useful. The events calendar, so students could see when workshops were on. It was very difficult before, they loved that. And we now have a Twitter, and I get a new follower every day, so that's great, and the students are really using that to engage and ask questions about our services, but also our resources. So reworking those so people can do Google style searching, but they can also browse for topics by subject or keyword. But also we looked at the use of the websites we already had, so which ones were in most demand, like referencing was a big one, and which ones weren't being used anymore, so we could rejig those.
Usability played an important part in the design of the new library website. We got users in from our target audiences to work with the prototype design, and based on the problems that they identified during those usability sessions, we were able to improve the design and finally end up with 100% success rate.
For me as a research student, the library homepage is very important, and it's an essential tool that I have to use every single day. I look for books, journals, articles, ebooks, whatever I need to be up to date with the information that I require. I rarely have problems finding what I need. I think the current website is pretty good. I wouldn't know what to improve about it.
I signed up for the Staff Exchange program because Newcastle has the same library management system that Griffith just got, Millennium, and I wanted to see what Newcastle was doing because they've had it since the early 90s, so they're kind of experts.
We rolled out the new Millennium Library Management System last July, and we wanted to know a lot more about processes and procedures for the ordering and acquiring of resources for the library and how University of Newcastle handled that.
When we went to the Newcastle campus, it was kind of almost like coming back to Nathan campus. There were a lot of similarities. I could see why they chose Newcastle for us to exchange with.
Learning about how they handle their processes and procedures and how they compare to our processes and procedures. It actually gives us the confidence that we've achieved quite a deal, but there's still quite a lot to learn. We've learnt to have an open conversation to compare that we do some things differently, we do some things in the same way. I think that the fact that we are willing to go out there and seek help and ask questions, and we do ask complex questions, and we get a lot of information from a lot of outsiders, and I think again the networks that we've now got at University of Newcastle will be of great value for us now that we've got that open conversation, that there is multiple opportunities to get more information now and in the future.
The decision to abolish our library fines really came about because we had the opportunity with a new library system to look at our policies and our procedures and to actually look at what we were doing and the outcomes that we were getting. The benefits of this new initiative that we have of no more fines is really that it is fairer to our students. It is actually targeting our efforts on the high use, high demand items, and they're the items that have the most impact for the majority of our students because they're the ones they need to use. So we're maximising our access to our resources. We're being more responsible in our management of library debt and of library resources. We're allowing my frontline staff to spend time value adding for students rather than disputing fines, and we're actually allowing our students to be responsible, and that's a really good vibe for the library. So our new policy, which has a new motto which is never pay a library fine again, do the right thing, is actually giving a really good impression of Griffith University Library, especially for Griffith in the 21st century context.
So here we are in the engine room of the Internet Access Project, where we actually started the project last year, where we surveyed students to see what they didn't like about the NetCheck service. They came back with a few things. One was they wanted to make it simpler to use. They found the semester-based quotaing really difficult to understand. They couldn't work out how much their quota was. Also, when they went online, they couldn't easily understand how much quota they'd left. So it was really difficult for them to use the service. The other things that we're trying to look at with the project is actually trying to improve performance for researchers when they're downloading large files from the internet, like medical images and other really large files that need huge amounts of internet bandwidth. And the project's going to look at increasing this performance for these researchers so they can be more productive in their work.
There are several benefits for Griffith in the new internet access system. To start with, the new technology will improve the availability of the system and reduce the risk of service unavailabilities. And also, this will give Griffith extra capacity for future expansions.
I like the new internet access system because I've never found it to run out. I've always had a bit of quota there to do the searching I need.
That's a very good thing, and the speed, good for downloads.
I like the automatic log on to internet as well. That's pretty cool because it saves us time.
In the last few months, I've been particularly surprised at how quick it is to get logged in and to start using the internet.
Now when you want to access the internet, you just basically click the website and you're logged on. So it's great.
Hi everybody, welcome back to N53. We have a slightly different story to tell you this year. Most of the construction is finished. You'll remember us walking down this corridor last year. There was a lot more noise, there was a lot more dust, there was a lot more distraction. Now you'll see a lovely new foyer. Brand new lending services counter, brand new student administration counter, brand new Griffith International counter, and our clients love it. This is the new entrance. Lots of light and air, as you can see. We still have some construction outside. We'll have a new plaza in place by the time semester 1 starts next year. And this is the collaboration zone. You remember last year we were walking through here and this area was under construction? Just have a look. Now you'll remember this because this is one of our highlights from last year. In 2011 we can walk through the same corridor and not see the industrial motif. Lovely. Bathrooms. And you'll remember we finished last year's tour in around this area and we got into trouble because we went on the other side of the hoarding. As you can see, the hoarding's gone, new training rooms, new consultation spaces, and I'll just take you down this new corridor. Come with me. This is all new. Look, actual students. We're sharing the building now with clients from other service areas of the university. So Griffith Honours College are here and the international staff are here as well. Through a new entry and exit for our clients and for staff. And now, of course, since we had such a wonderful time in Nathan, we're going to do it all again in G10. Hat, coat, lift. Is this looking familiar? We'll let these people out first. And I'll see you guys next year. Bye!
Some of the benefits to our clients is that they get access to our products and services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from wherever they are. They get the cost of the job as they enter the job specifications, so they can actually choose a job to suit their budget. No big surprises at the end after it's printed about how much it costs, which clients really like. They can upload native files for PDF conversion. They get their own archiving for their print files and the job specifications for reprints. Clients love it. It's really good. Makes business much easier for them.
What I like about Printerface is it's quick and easy to use. Your personal information is saved and stored on the system. It's easy to manage all of your orders and keep track of your orders, and very easy to request a reprint of any orders. My recommendation for staff who haven't used Printerface before is don't wait any longer. It's a quick and easy system to use.
The process for selecting the staff email system is a little bit different to a lot of other processes we've used previously. We've actually had the staff involved all the way through, and a lot of what the staff fed back we actually use for the selection criteria for the final product.
I think that the opportunity to be involved in the staff email selection process is great. It's really good for the people who actually use the staff every day and maybe have a lot more ideas about it to participate and put in their input to the process.
I think the most important thing is to have more storage.
What I really want is the ability to effectively collaborate, and Google does this really well.
So the benefits Google Apps will bring to staff are numerous. The most obvious that everybody will see is a massive 25 gigabytes of storage. There'll be really easy access from mobile devices, and there's a whole host of collaboration tools that people haven't yet seen that will really benefit them, particularly researchers, when they can use collaborative document sharing and things like that with colleagues around the world.
You get what you measure, or so the saying goes. But seriously though, if you don't measure what you do, how will you know how you're going? How will you know if you're achieving the outcomes that you need to achieve? How will you know that you're doing what the university requires? With that in mind, this year we've introduced the In staircase. Let's have a look inside. So why call it a staircase? Well, for very good reasons, because it is about climbing the stairs, about achieving that aspirational success that we're aiming for, while at the same time continuing to improve our performance across a range of measures. So the staircase has 3 steps, the top being the most aspirational, the bottom being those core things that we need to continue to improve over time, and then in the middle is where we're starting to really enhance the university's business. So let's have a look at one of the KPIs. This particular one is from the bottom level of the staircase. It shows how learning at Griffith is being used over time, and what it tells you is a very pleasing story. We're seeing academics using the richer functions of the tool to increase collaboration, to improve learner support, not simply to deliver content, something that we have been working quite hard to achieve in partnership with the university community. Now let's look at another in that next level up, enhancing. This particular measure is about GROW, Griffith Research Online. It shows the publications of our academics, and increasingly they're making those available fully online, open to the world through the internet. This provides a fantastic opportunity to showcase our research and to really promote the good work that's happening at Griffith, and to lift our impact in terms of the quality of that research and its application in practice. Again, exceptionally pleasing results as you see the enormous growth not only in the number of publications available, but in the huge numbers of downloads that we're receiving from all over the world. This is the first exposure of our staircase to the executive group, and I've had incredibly positive feedback already from many of the senior executive about the value of this tool and the direction we can take with it. This is going to be a great asset for information services as we think about the future and plan how to improve what we do even more effectively than we have in the past.
Let me tell you about my first year at Griffith, in fact my first year in Australia, and my experience with Friends of the Library. We have over 255 friends, and we had 8 events this year, ranging from our former Queensland Premier Peter Beattie telling us about the Smart State, and former Prime Minister John Howard came to talk to us about his book Lazarus Rising.
I was Prime Minister for a long time. I did a lot of things, and I tried to write the book in as reasonably an objective a way as I could. Obviously you want to tell your own story and tell it favourably, but I tried to also give an outline of the big political developments.
My favourite event was our student event. Several students from the Small Room Writers Collective performed their original pieces at the Gold Coast, and it was really different and interesting. We also took photos at these events. There were 15,000 views of the photos from all these various events. Next year we're going to have an advisory group and more to tell you about Friends of the Library and how you can be a friend and how you can support us in developing our libraries and our resources for students at Griffith University.